Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we will begin by chanting the invocation prayers. Before I begin the invocation prayers, I just like to recollect the importance of invocation prayers, because whatever we do, if we...
Speak in the mic, please.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Yes. Oh, we are going to have the translation in French.
Yes, French.
Okay. Yeah, so is it coming in French here or no? Oh,
Simultaneous.
oh, simultaneous translation.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Donc, une traduction simultanée en français ici pour ceux qui en ont besoin.
We'll chant the invocation prayers, and I'm just recollecting the importance of invocation prayers very consciously. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the very beginning of writing Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, I now chant the Mangalacharan, which is invocation prayers, and which is nothing but the remembrance of Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. Gratera Arambhe Kare Mangalacharan, Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Dini Rasmaran. I remember the Supreme Lord, the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. Just by their remembrance, all the obstacles will be removed and we will be easily able to accomplish our desired goal and our cherished desires. So, remember their lordships in our Guru Parampara and the Vaishnavas by chanting the invocation prayers, and then we'll begin the Devotee seminar. O Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakhaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Yogishtam Savitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dati Sovadandi Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Dapadam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Jagajatam Saranaragunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagananitha Shri Vishakam Thamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhu Mevacha Paridanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So first of all, I would like to welcome you all to this Devotee Care seminar. My heartfelt gratitude to His Holiness Madhan Prabhu and the other senior devotees of this community who have kindly agreed to host us here and organize this Devotee Care seminar. It is a very holy place. Prabhupada himself has been here. He has installed Krishna Balaram personally. So it is our great good fortune to be coming to this holy place and discussing this holy topic.
Your name?
My name is Damodar Das. Yes. So, myself Damodar Das and my colleague Madhan Sundar Prabhu. I am from Govardhan Eco Village, which is also a rural community. It's like the new Mayapur, the rural community. I am also from one of the rural communities, which is Govardhan Eco Village. And Madhan Sundar Prabhu is from Pune. So we will be co-presenting this Devotee Care seminar. My gratitude to all of you for coming this afternoon and giving us this opportunity. I would like to begin by reflecting upon Sridhar Mayapur, our international headquarters. What's the first building Prabhupada made in Sridhar Mayapur? What is the first building Prabhupada made in Sridhar Mayapur?
Lotus.
Lotus, not exactly, not conch. Sorry? Long building, yes. Your name, Madhan? Mother Sita Priya Devi. So, Mother Sita Priya Devi has correctly answered. The first building Prabhupada made is a long building, and he made that for the devotees. Even before, he made something for the deities. The deities were still in the hatched roof, just in a hut. While the deities were still in a hut, Prabhupada realized that I must provide for the devotees proper facilities so that they can take care of the deities properly and they can expand. Forgive me for my bad throat. Due to the traveling and the changing weathers, I have just developed some sore throat, but I'm sure it will be better. The next 2 days will be alright. Yes, so Prabhupada, the very first building is the long building, and that is for the devotees. That is for the devotees. Prabhupada wrote in his letters, Prabhupada wrote thousands of letters. Every letter he began, my dear so and so, my dear son, my dear daughter, please accept my blessings. Can someone recall what is the next line in every letter? After Prabhupada showered his blessings, what is the next line Prabhupada wrote in every letter? I hope you are in good health. I hope this letter finds you in good health. Thank you. Mother, your name? Gaurangi? Yeah, Mother Gaurangi Devi. Yes, Mother Gaurangi Devi has perfectly answered that. I hope this finds you in good health. Now just imagine, Prabhupada preached all over the world, you are not the body. On his main preaching, you are not the body. But every letter, he is saying, I hope this meets you in good health. Just reflect on this. Just reflect on this. Right? He is concerned about the health of the devotees. Although he is preaching, you are not the body. So, reflecting upon this, I just want to describe that how Prabhupada himself was such a caring leader. Such a caring leader. Now, I would like to ask you, when we say the word care, what does that mean to you? Answer in one word. Yes, tell me your name and then you can.
Ananga.
Oh, Mother Ananga Devi, yes.
Care for me.
One word.
Love.
You can just speak one word.
Love.
Love, thank you. The love. There is about love. There is a conversation between a sage, Yajnavalkya, and Maitri. The conversation. So Maitri, she is asking this sage some questions, and she asks a question: what is that one need which must be satisfied at all costs? And if all the other needs are satisfied, but this one need is not, still a person will be unfulfilled. But if this one need is satisfied and other needs may or may not be, still a person will experience fulfillment. What is that one need? She asked the great sage, and he answered, love and be loved. love and be loved, is it? So this is one of the most important need. Everything else is there, but there is no love, then the life is empty. But there is a love in the life, other things may be here and there, but still we experience fulfillment. Okay, thank you, Madhan Devi. Love. Care means love, one word. Like to hear from others. Care means one word. What else care means?
Concern.
Care means concern. Thank you so much, Madhan Devi. Care means concern. Concern for everything. Like few things. Concern for the health, like Prabhupada said, I hope this man is in good health. One thing is health. There are many things, but fine. So concern for, say, health. Concern for right engagement. The devotees are properly engaged. That's good. That's profound.
I hope you are happy.
I hope you are happy. One word. Care means happiness. Okay, care means happiness. Thank you. Yes, so Prabhupada wanted everyone to chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So care means happiness. So more, yes, just to do, you can tell me your name.
Jyoti. My name is Jyoti.
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 Yes.
Attention.
Oh, care means attention. Okay, very good. Care means attention. We are attentive. Someone attention in terms of, a little bit elaborate on this. Little bit elaborate on attention.
To care.
Attention, what kind of attention care means?
In order to care about, and in order to care about somebody.
Attention to what?
With me.
Wait, Jyoti Prabhu.
Health.
Attention to what?
Health.
Attention to health. Health is one.
Fulfillment.
Fulfillment. Fine, good, okay, attention. Sometimes care would mean attention to details. We take care of certain details. Okay. Just like Prabhupada was giving a talk in 26 2nd Avenue, and the toilet paper, one just a drunkard came and put the toilet paper. The toilet paper was not there. And Prabhupada said, this is also Krishna consciousness. This is Krishna consciousness. He has paid attention to this detail. The toilet paper should be there. And he came and put it. Did some seva. Okay? So in our seva, there are so many details sometimes. And attention to detail is also care. Okay. Give one example. But thank you Jyoti Prabhu. Thank you for that nice answer. Care means attention. So care means love. Care means happiness. Care means attention. Mother Gaurangi said care means no. Rightly engaged. Properly engaged. Yes. We got 4 profound meanings. Some more meaning, some more words which describes care. Yes, Mother Gaurangi. Friends. Okay, care means friend or friendship. Care means friendship. Fine, friendship. That's good. Prabhupada wanted devotees to have loving friendship with each other. Especially between equals, there is friendship that is encouraged. Yes? Your name is Krishna Kirtan. Okay, Hare Krishna, Buddha Krishna Kirtan Devi. So care means prasadam. Prasadam. Okay, good. So prasadam is, actually, we can express, and it's the most tangible care, most sweetest form of care is through prasadam. Thank you. So, yes. Yes,
Time. Give the time.
Okay, care means to give time. That's so important. Your name is Sita Priya. Sita Priya Devi. Yes, now I remember. That is Sita Priya Devi. Yes, so care means to give time. Care means to give time. And there's a fact. Sometimes in a relationship, the husband works so hard to provide everything except the time. And what the wife needs is the time. So the husband feels, I am caring so much. by providing everything else. But what is needed by the wife is time. So therefore sometimes we misunderstand what is the exact needs of the person we want to care for. Okay? So care means time. In relationship, we need to give time. Okay? So yes, we express our care by giving time. That's another very important aspect of care. Yes, some more thoughts on meaning of care. Yes.
Justice.
Justice. Care means justice. Amazing. Yes. If there is something wrong, of course, justice must be there. And the Prabhupada said, the wrongdoer, when the wrongdoer is punished, the lesson is given. The king's duty, especially for the Kshatriyas, is to do proper justice. At the same time, Bhagavatam talks of justice versus mercy and dichotomy, about which is a bit debatable topic, whether justice should be done or mercy should be shown. Among devotees also, there is often this dichotomy, but we will not get into that. But yes, of course, the justice must be done, and Prabhupada emphasizes that. So care means to do justice. For the benefit of the person, it benefits the person, the wrongdoer also. The person gets a lesson, everyone else gets a lesson. Care means justice. Any last thought on the meaning of the word care? One word which defines care for you.
Seva.
Okay, good. Care means Dhananjay Prabhu. Dhananjay Prabhu said care means seva. We do practical service. Yeah, we express our care. So, thank you for all these amazing answers. From your answers, we can conclude that care has two broad categories of meaning. Two broad categories. What is that? Care is a virtue of the heart, it's a quality. It's a quality of the heart. And also it's care is an action. So it's like a noun, it's also a verb. Just like, to explain this point, just like bhakti, the word bhakti is traditionally translated as devotion. Bhakti is translated devotion. But Prabhupada translated bhakti as devotional service. So there is a quality of the heart, but it is also service. So we are very attentive. It's a quality of the heart. Love, like the person very loving, means caring. It's a virtue. But seva, attention to detail, it's a verb. It's a verb. So the quality of the heart has to practically manifest into action. Just like bhakti is devotional service. Devotion is the quality of the heart, but the devotion has to manifest into practical action. Like someone is serving prasadam. Like prasadam. Cooking, serving prasadam. So there is a care, we have caring attitude, the love in the heart, but it manifests as practical action. So therefore the care, just like the word bhakti is devotional service, virtue of the heart expressed into practical service. Similarly, care also has these two broad meanings. Care as a virtue and care as a practical action, a verb as a noun. Okay, so now from here onwards, having reflected on some pastimes of Prabhupada, where he exemplified care, we discussed about Prabhupada's own desire to care for the devotees, his making the long building, his concern for everyone's health, that concern is a quality of the heart, but that is expressed, Prabhupada expressed that into practical action, by making a long building, first in Mayapur. So he expresses his virtue and also in action, these two aspects of care. So now I would like to, at this point of time, invite Madhan Sundar Prabhu to discuss how to receive and how to give and receive care, and this dynamics. So Madhan Sundar Prabhu will take from here onwards. Hare Krishna.
ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Is anyone sitting down?
Okay,
I'm able to see and everyone able to see me.
Yeah, that's fine.
I saw him like I was sitting behind on the floor.
Sure, you mean
You want to come up on the chair? If you're okay. Or else I can go. Get it? Come on. Hare Krishna. Thank you for this opportunity. Very, very special place. And you were welcomed by a nice sunny day, along with a wonderful kirtan by Lochanand Prabhu. He came singing welcome, and of course our women Prabhu came to receive us. Vijay Prabhu, Johnson Prabhu, who came to receive. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Many times when we speak on the topic of devotee care, devotees often ask, as we have heard Guru Sadhu Shastra, we always ask for Shastric references, where it has been prioritized or discussed like that. So I'll a little bit be touching on that aspect. More on importance of giving and receiving care from that point of view. We're just coming from London, and we met one devotee, or precisely to say, until some years ago he was known by the name of Muhammad. I'm not going to much details of his story, but just to precisely make a point. He was searching for God, and somehow he didn't find answers for it in his practice. He got into a verbal argument with his parents. His parents wanted to force him to accept their way of thinking. It didn't work out, and finally they literally had a fight and he left. He wandered around on the streets of London from approximately close to 3 years in a homeless situation. And today when we met him, he's an initiated devotee. So I had an obvious question. I said, what happened? How did you crash landed ISKCON? So he said something very interesting. Just one thing. He said, when I met the devotee for the first time, I was so charmed by him. So I said, what was the thing that attracted you? Was it a philosophy? He said, I was reading Buddha's teachings, I was reading this and that, but Krishna conscious philosophy was too high for me to understand at that time. But I said, okay, if not philosophy, did you like the prasadam? He said, he never gave me the prasadam because I met on the street. I said, okay, generally people get attracted to philosophy, prasadam, kirtan, of course no kirtan, they went on the street. So I said, what was that? What clicked for you? And he said something very interesting. That devotee heard me. So first he spoke, and then once he spoke, then I spoke. And he patiently heard me. And it was after such a long time. In fact, my father would not hear me. My mother would not hear me. He was from the Islamic tradition. Nobody in my tradition would hear me. And here I found somebody who heard me. I believe somebody gave a point. Attention, love, care. Listening is an aspect of that. This is just one skill of it. How important to cultivate the listening habits. I remember I was in Columbus, Ohio. I studied there. A friend of mine she was from Delhi, so she was also coming to temple. However, one day she stopped coming, days, weeks and months. Then one day I asked her, I said, I haven't seen you in the temple, what happened? She said, I don't like this Hare Krishna people. I said, what happened? Why don't you like? So what suddenly happened? She said, these people are judgmental and too critical. I said, did anyone say anything? So she didn't tell me, but I got to know from one of the devotee. I mean, this is context, we are coming from different cultural backgrounds, so people have their own context. So that Columbus temple had many devotees from South India, so they are more traditionally rooted. So she was from Delhi, and she would wear cut sleeve dresses, something like that, So one of the Mataji there kind of mildly corrected or chastised. This is temple. You should properly dress yourself and come here. Now this is a very mild version I'm saying. I don't know what she said. And she felt so deeply judged. She said, no, I will never do that. I'm just giving a two spectrum of it, two sides of it. One said, I love Hare Krishna people. Other said, you people are too judgmental. Like that. Anyways. So coming to the point of Shastra, I like to quote something from Upadeshamrita. So Nectar of Instruction, the 8th verse offers the essence of the teachings of Nectar of Instruction, not Srila Rupa Goswami's teachings. And he precisely, Rupa Goswami says 3 things, what is the essence of everything that we learn and we practice. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Tannama, Rupa, Charitadi, etc. Second, reside in Vraja, which means reside in temple or near temple, as Prabhupada put it. Like all of us are residing in the Siddham. And third, serve under the guidance of senior Vaishnavas. So I always wondered when reading Rupa Goswami's books, because he was a scholar, the best of the minds, of course he is who he is, he's a Manjari. Whenever he wrote any thesis, he would always give reference, praman, to his statements, unlike Upadeshamrita, because there's only 11 verses. If he began to give praman for every verse, that will not work. So I was looking into it, what is the reference of these verses? So out of the 8 verses, the first 3 verses are only about Yama and Niyama. And then begins the main essential discussion. That's from the 4th verse. Dadati pratigyanati bhuyam ankyati prachati bunkate bhojitei chaiva shadvati viti lakshana. I don't want to much details. 4th, 5th, 6th verse talks about Vaishnava relationship. I'll come back to it briefly. 4th, 5th, 6th. And then 7th verse, Srila Rupa Goswami says, chant Hare Krishna. Now, you're in a situation to chant Hare Krishna. And the 8th verse he says, the essence of all study is this. Interestingly, and it's just amazing, these verses were never spoken by Rupa Goswami or written by Rupa Goswami. Of course, he wrote it, but these are not his composition. So who wrote this? Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had written a commentary known as Anuvritti Commentary. And there he says, I'll just recite these 2 Bengali, this is fantastic, and I'll just summarize what does it mean. Govinda vachane jani ihai goranga vani aprakata kale sarakatha nilachale sindhu tire shigoranga dhire dhire balila shunila bhaktata gaura mukha upadesh sarva amrit tera shesha Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhuvara Karnadwara Panakari Lekhanite Tahadhari Kali Jive Dina Bharahara. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur at the end of his Anuvritti commentary of Nectar of Instruction, he says, these 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, these 5 verses was spoken by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the banks of Jagannath Puri temple. He spoke to his Bhakta Mandali, Bhaktas, and from there Srila Prabhu Goswami got it. So just like we value Shishashtakam, the most essential teaching, here Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about Vaishnava relationship, the importance of it. And the essence of all teachings is to always remember Krishna, to reside in Dham, and to serve under the guidance of senior Vaishnavas. Now let me give you a little bit, only on one verse, the fourth verse. Dadati Pratijanati. This is spoken by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like that. And there will be another acknowledgement which Damodar will give later on. And this particular verse has many perspectives. I'll just offer a perspective in relation to care. This verse defines what care is. So here, 6 loving exchanges have been described. I'll just put in an acronym so that's easy to remember. C-A-R-E, care. Where C stands for charity. So Dadati Pratigranati. So like charity, so giving. So that's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. A refers to accepting. You give charity, you feed prasadam, and in that charity also Prabhupada writes, the greatest charity, Srila Prabhupada writes, is giving the charity of holy names. Helping others to chant the holy names. So that's what C, A for accepting. And then comes R, revealing one's mind in confidence. So where we have this, giving and receiving, and when we are able to open our heart, our mind in confidence, then comes the word E, ecstatic devotees. Shalpriti, Priti, Lakshana. And this can happen amongst the existing devotees, it should happen. And this can happen with the young devotees also, those who are coming to the program. All of you would have noticed, Srila Prabhupada created a format of a program. Prabhupada would always start with Kirtan, Jai Radha, always, any event. Then there is a presentation. Prabhupada will speak. After that, what will be the third thing? I'm speaking, let me take some input from all of you. So let's say it begins with chanting. Then Prabhupada will speak. What will happen next? Question answers. Prabhupada will always ask question answers. And what will be the fourth item? And prasadam. That is his fourth verse of NOI. So charity, what? Giving Krishna's name. And then you have what you call as giving discourse, speaking about Krishna. Then there is Guhyam Akhyati Prachati. What is Guhyam Akhyati Prachati? Question answers. And then Dadati Pratigyanati. Bhunkate Bhojate Cheva. Then serving prasadam and sitting and offering prasadam with them. This is how Prabhupada designed a program which includes the 6 loving exchanges like that. So this is what how Prabhupada gave the system. This is the Shastri Praman to it. Now coming to the next point here. We're talking about importance of care, receiving and giving. Narad Muni in Bhagavatam speaks a very profound verse. And I feel this is very, very essential verse. He talks about 3 things that a devotee must be doing. Simon, I'll connect my iPad, I'll write. So it'll become easy for them to capture. TV is working, right? So, Narad says, Gunadikan Udam Lipsat Anukrosham gunadamat maitrim samanam anvicham na tapera vibhuyate. Three things, if you do, na tapera vibhuyate. Tapa refers to adibhatika, adidaivika, adhyatmika. He says, if you have these three things, you will not experience tapa. Just like we say in the context of Bhagavad Gita, if you study Bhagavad Gita, the circumstances will not change. What will change? Your response to circumstances, your ability to deal and react accordingly. Similarly, Madhan says, if you do these three things, which is very crucial for devotees, in fact for everyone, you will not experience whatever external circumstances like that. And just to simplify this, again to give a kind of a structure, I call it as a triangle of life. And it's important for everyone to evaluate their own personal life. How is it doing on this concept of triangle of life? So I will, I'll not move too much. Make it easy. Something is pressing. Like this guy. Okay. Okay, let's try. If it happens, good. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, thank God. Okay, just come over there.
It's coming. It's too loud. Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna. So I just quoted Narad Muni speaking about how you can transcend the external situations. And he speaks of three things. So first is Gunadika. Gunadika means adhik, guna. Somebody is having greater qualities than you. Mudam lipsat. Be happy seeing them. That's what Narad says. In terms of how do we deal with our seniors, be happy seeing them. We can only be happy when we are grateful. Not going into details, but that's the point he says first. Then, Anukrosham Gunadamad. Anukrosham Gunadamad. Guna Adhamad. Somebody is inferior in qualities than you. Show your mercy, kindness to them. Okay? Anytime if you want, I can just, I'm not going to go into details, but fine. And then, Maitrim Samanam Anvicham. Those who are equal to us in qualities, we should be friend with them. When we have these three types of relationship, na tape abhibhuyate. Now you will not experience adibhatik, adhyatmik, adidaivika klesha. What does it actually mean? It means three things, what I call as a triangle of life. That will be a little easy to capture the essence here. We need to have three things going in our life. First, self-development. What is self-development? Which means growth. This generally happens in relationship with senior. So when we have that relationship with the senior, just like again going back to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the essence of all instructions, as Rupa Goswami quoted in Innovative State, working under the guidance of seniors. That's where we experience self-development. Second thing is loving relationships. The way this loving relationship has to be exercised with equals. So we need to have friends. If not many, at least one. If not many seniors, at least one with whom we are learning or experiencing that. Now if you have self-development, even if you have loving relationship, yet we will not experience fulfillment. Any guess what would be needed? The third thing which is needed. And that's the beauty of our movement. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore made bhakti so practical in the impractical time in which we are living. And that was greatly emphasized by Srila Prabhupada. And if some of that's not there, we would still have something missing with it. What could be the third thing? So we got a relationship where we are learning with our seniors. That's for learning how to self-development. Some friends, not the online friends, that's good. Some friends from the community. What is the third thing? Yes, Mother? Mercy. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, Mother?
Like service, feeling useful?
You're very close to it. You're very close to it. Yes, you're very close to it.
Surrendering.
Surrendering. Well, you already did it in a senior. Self-development. Sharing. You're also right onto that. Anything else? Helping. Okay, very nice. So yeah, all of you are correct on that. So what I call it as social contribution. Now this has a great psychology behind it also. A social contribution means we should have somebody to whom we are sharing also. Because we are receiving. Prabhupada in third canto and one of the purpose, right? If you keep receiving but if you don't share, everything will leak out. You'll not be able to keep it. But if you are only sharing but not receiving, I don't know, maybe, do we have a well here? I mean, I don't know. We have a well. So it's interesting if you have ever tried that. So people generally fetch water from the well. Now the well is not the source of water. It's just an intermediary. It gets the water from the rain clouds and whatnot. So when we drop a bucket through that trolley or whatever you call it, when it has water, when you pull it, it does not make sound. But when there is no water, and then you try to pull the bucket, then it makes a lot of kitch, kitch, kitch sound. Have you experienced that? Which means when we are empty, we are not receiving, but we are only giving. That's the time devotee experience frustration. So this has to be balanced. So giving is necessary, not necessarily is essential, I would say, but similarly, most importantly, we have to have receiving also. There has to be training programs, things like that. And therefore Prabhupada gave a system. Morning until 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock is your time. You go through everything that you need in spiritual life. Chanting the holy names of the Lord, Didi Darshan, Bhagavatam class, Krishna Prasadam. Then for the next 6-7 hours, go and share with others. So this has to be balanced out. And loving the relationship. This is called as a triangle of life. Just like when you sit in a plane, the air hostess will announce, in the case of emergency, when the oxygen mask falls, make sure you put it on your neighbor first. Help him survive first, isn't it? No. First put it on yourself. If you do it okay, then you can help others. So this way, care has to be, in other words, as we are part of the community, there has to be a system and a culture where we are receiving, and when we receive, we happily give. And like that, Narmani says, Gunadikan Madhundapsat, Anukroshan Gunadamad, Maityam Samanam Anvichan, Nataphe, Abhibhuyate. Like that, he explains, these three relationships are very essential. Relationship with seniors, with peer, and with juniors. We all have to have these three components. And to summarize, going back to what I said, is care, as Srila Rupa Goswami speaks about, is charity, which means giving, accepting, and revealing. one's mind. Then you become ecstatic. Do you see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nagari saying the same thing? Charity, giving, that is social contribution, correct? It's the same thing? Charity. Accepting, that is receiving, that is self-development. Right? And then revealing, which means loving relationship. And then you will be ecstatic. And Nagari says, Na tapera miguriyate. Same thing Nagari says, same thing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, same thing. Rupa Goswami repeated like that. So that's a little bit of Shastric evidence on this topic of care and how naturally it happens. And as the point was raised by Damodar Prabhu, it's a value as well as virtue. So devotees, offering care is a part of their ecosystem. And we need to bring into an action. How do we bring into an action? If you can have these three kind of things, or this, either of the formula, if we can follow that in our capacity, to whatever extent, that Muhammad didn't receive prasadam, that Muhammad didn't receive discourse, he just received, somebody willing to hear him. So sometimes care seems like, got to arrange a lot of resources, got to do many things. Little things also makes a lot of difference. So that's the whole idea about it. I'll just pause. Of course, the fifth and maybe this is an important one also. Just let me summarize that. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this is how you build relationship. And the fifth verse, Krishneti yasya girikam manasadriyeta. Let me ask a question, then I'll do that. I'll fill in the blank. Fairness in dealing with all is dealing dash. Fairness in dealing with all is dealing dash. What would be the? Sorry for making complicated. Fairness in dealing with all is dealing
with everyone.
With everyone. Is dealing equally or differently? Let me do the answer here.
Equal.
So fairness in dealing with all is dealing dash, two options, equally or differently.
Equally.
How many of you say equally? Please raise your hand. Little high. Raise your hand equally. It's okay. There's nothing right and wrong. We're just having a little thought process here. Please raise your hand here equally. Okay. How many of you say differently? Third option. Not sure. Would anyone like to justify equally? Or anyone from the group who said equally, dealing equally? Yes, brother, you want to say something? No, okay. Somebody would like to defend the position why you said yes, dealing, what did I say?
Fair.
A fairness in dealing with all is dealing equally. Would anyone like to justify that?
So, to be fair with everyone means, for example, you try to give your time equally to everyone, or you try to give attention equally to everyone.
Okay. Anyways, we are living in the times when equality is the biggest debate. Everyone is talking about equal rights, like that, okay?
You can also see it in the way that if someone needs more, then you give more to this person. If someone needs less, you give less to that person. So
Now you're dealing differently.
In that way you did.
Now you're dealing differently. Okay. Some of you have said fairness in dealing, yes, personally.
Yeah, everybody has a different need also, so it kind of like depends. Sometimes equal, sometimes different, Even Krishna does it, right? Like someone, he says, I'm equal to everyone. But
No. There's a difference there. That verse when Krishna says, there are two things Vishnu Thakur says for that. As a Paramatma, I am equal to all. But as Krishna, I am partial. So you cannot quote that verse here. You cannot see that. And as a Paramatma, that's the job description. You can't change that. Okay. Differently, who would like to defend their situation for different? Yes, brother.
We are individual, we are on the same model, even our own desires changing. So we cannot be fixed in a box.
Okay. Thank you for that. Yes, Mother.
You are equally, because you give for everyone, but this it's not means you give the same thing,
Okay.
or the same quantity, or the same what means different for everyone,
Okay.
for each.
Thank you. Anything? One last comment on that. Yes, Mother.
It is said in the scriptures.
Oh, we do have a cordless mic now. Our devotees can speak on the
Yeah, it's
cordless mic.
here.
Where's the
Who
cordless
has
mic?
it? There.
Mother over here.
Please.
If we serve, for the example of Narada Muni, he serves pure devotees. He serves very great sages, and he got more benefit than common charity, for example.
Okay.
So we don't have.
Okay.
And we just speak about different levels of relationship.
Yes.
So
We just
you-
spoke about that. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the fifth verse spoken by him. So, anyway, Krishna Yasya Gita Manasa Viyate, etc. So, let me make a statement and then I'll explain that. Fairness in dealing with all is dealing differently. They're dealing differently. Why? Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, Krishna Yasya Gita Manasa Viyate. Those who chant just Krishna's name, offer obeisances within your mind, respect. Dikshestri, those who have taken Diksha, offer obeisances. So in that verse, when you read the purport, Prabhupada talks about 3 levels of devotees: Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama. And Prabhupada says we have to deal with them differently. So fairness in dealing with all. And therefore Krishna created Chatur Varnya Maya Shashtam Guna Karma Bhavishaha Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So like that. So that's about the 5th. And the 6th verse says, do not find faults with devotees. These all come under the components of Vaishnava relationship and the care. And these are Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's words, essential teachings. And what he says matches up with what Narada Muni says here, the triangle of life. We all got to have these 3 things with us: self-development, serve under the guidance of senior Vaishnavas, loving relationship, at least have one friend, one peer with whom you can share your mind. And third, social contribution, at least have one student to whom you are training in Krishna consciousness. Even this one-on-one relationship will give you an experience of ecstasy in Krishna consciousness. So I'll conclude here by quoting one example of Srila Prabhupada, and then if anyone has any comments, we can take that. This is one of my favorite story. This is from Delhi. Prabhupada was in Delhi that time, and when old men was coming regularly, he wanted to take Diksha from Srila Prabhupada. So the devotee over there, he said, oh, you want to take Diksha? Well, the waiting time is 6 months. You have to render service, and then when the temple president and authorities are convinced with your service, then they will recommend your name. The old man said, okay, he was 65, 70. He said, okay, please give me some service, what can I do? I'll try. So he said, well, what you can do? He asked him, he didn't have much skills which he can offer. So that devotee said, the temple commander said, okay, take the broom, take the mop, clean the temple floor. So he said, okay, I can clean it, but because I'm old, I really can't bend down much, but I'll try whatever I can do it. And he very religiously started doing that. Third day, another devotee was visiting, a senior devotee, and he happened to meet this old guy. And he asked him, what are you doing? Why are you doing this service? It looks so difficult for you. You're struggling with doing it. And this man said, what to do? I want to take Diksha from Prabhupada. So your temple commander said, I need to do the service. So I'm just trying to follow whatever has been told to me. So then this devotee said, well, do you want to meet Prabhupada? He said, yes. Can I meet Prabhupada? He said, yes. Come tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. That's the time Prabhupada gives darshan, and I make sure you'll be the first guest who will meet Prabhupada. And this old man was so happy. Next evening, 6 p.m., right on the spot, he was in Ahmedabad. He said, make sure you bring some gift for Prabhupada. Anything that you like. Anything you want, bring it. So he brought a whole plate full of fruits and whatnot. He brought it to the temple, that temporary place. This devotee, Atma Tattva Prabhu, actually, he took him to Prabhupada and he kept his gift on the table, on the plate of fruits. And then Prabhupada said, so? He just said, so? And this devotee said, this one man said, Prabhupada, I just want to chant Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada said, oh, so do you know how to chant Hare Krishna? He said, no, Prabhupada. He said, repeat after me. This has just been 4-5 days, right? He's coming. He said, repeat after me. And Prabhupada said, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And Prabhupada asked him, do you have beads? He said, yes, Prabhupada. Prabhupada took his beads. Do you know how to chant on beads? He said, no, Prabhupada. So Prabhupada put his hands in his beads and he chanted the whole mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and he moved a bead. Then Prabhupada said, so like this you chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and Prabhupada chanted 108 times. He chanted the whole Hare Krishna mantra 108 times on his beat, and after completing the round, Prabhupada said, so once you complete the round, then you turn like this. So got it? And the old man said, yes, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada gave him the beat back. He took the beat back. Atma Tattva Prabhu, he was watching this whole thing. He was in ecstasy. The old man didn't understand what exactly happened. Old man was just so grateful that Prabhupada talked to him, Prabhupada could speak to him. The old man came outside and Atma Tattva told him, do you know what happened? He said, yes, Prabhupada spoke to me. He said, no. Prabhupada just initiated you. You wanted so much to get initiated, Prabhupada just initiated you. He just chanted the Hare Krishna mantra, the beads, and gave it to you. And he was so happy with his old man, and he was very sincere. Atma Tattva Prabhu left Delhi, he went around. After 6 months, he comes back to Delhi. And then he was looking for this old man. And he got the sad news. The old man had died. But he was Atma Tattva Prabhu wanted to know what exactly happened to this old man. So he inquired from the devotees and from his relatives, and they said, during his final days of departing, particularly last 3 days, this man only chanted. He did nothing. He just chanted and chanted. And Atma Tattva wanted to know particularly what was he doing when he departed. So his relatives said, when he departed, that time also he was chanting Hare Krishna. And he said, he was holding his beads so tight. When he died, we wanted to take the beads out of his hands. We could not take the beads out of his hands. And like that, chanting the holy names of the Lord, he departed from this world. Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna. So anyways, there are so many examples, beautiful examples how Prabhupada, we were talking about Anukrosha Gunadamat, offering mercy to somebody who is younger to you. Prabhupada depicted many examples of that. So there is some other philosophical angle to the concept of care, how it is coming in parampara through Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And the devotee care course that has been designed, it just discusses more on the concept and some skills that we can work upon so that we can offer that care. So I'll pause here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So I'll have Damodar take it forward. Any comments? Any questions? Sorry if I made it too philosophical. Any comments? On this topic of importance of care and how it has been spoken in scriptures like that. Yes, Mother? Mother Gorangi, right? Yeah.
So I started to read about Chopati in the counseling. I got amazing. And they said, somebody said, everybody, there's an atmosphere of caring, atmosphere. So how to create an atmosphere of caring and be more caring ourselves, because sometimes it's like everybody in their little corner, unfortunately. So we have a lot to do here, even though there's some caring, definitely. We have some caring side, but we have to, how to cultivate it, how to make it like, when people come, they can feel it,
The warmth.
That we care for each other. Let's just tolerate it.
Before I say that, I was just learning about the community here. The Chopati is filled with devotees. When you have more devotees, it's easy to organize things. I just want to add a managerial side to it. When you're under men or less devotees, it's little challenge to organize. But more on the practical side of it, our leadership plays a very pivotal role. Leadership. What leader speaks creates an environment, what we call as ethos. So if a leadership talks about care, because he quoted Chopati, or Pune for that reason, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he speaks a lot on this topic. And when you speak regularly, particularly the leader, just like Lucian and Pru, when we were having a talk during lunch, he was speaking about His Master, His Holiness Jananand Maharaj, how he really cares for devotees, how he's been investing time and energy here. So when the leaders speak about it often, then slowly it begins to make sense for everyone. We need to a little bit, just like therefore I made a point, caring for others is our need. Then only, then only we can grow. We got to receive, no doubt about it, but we got to give also. Then only we can experience joy in Krishna consciousness, in true sense. That's what Nagini said. That's what the fourth verse of NY says. So, discussion, speaking on this, like Radhanath Maharaj, he often makes 2 points, humility and gratitude. You literally hear any lecture, these 2 points will always be hammered. And if you're hearing it, how much I may be dull, one day it will begin to make sense. Humility and gratitude. Humility and gratitude. So like that, one aspect leadership can take, that we speak about it. That's what it is. Okay. I'm not sure how best it is to compare back in India. It's a little different culture there. We have many devotees also, so it works out. But yes, no. Is that okay, Madam Gauragi? Was that okay?
No, I want to say, we should all become leaders, not just the leaders should do everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We should start speaking about it. Take responsibility. We should, definitely, that's a beautiful point. We should all become leaders. We should take responsibility. We should speak about this.
Yeah.
We should manifest in our conduct value and virtue. Value means we wish to do it. We really, find it important, and we begin to act in that way. Fantastic. We all should do that. No doubt about it. But just to give a benefit of doubt, some devotees may need some time for it. So, if not all, at least let me start it. At least let me take initiative for that. And for others, if they need time, wonderful, no problem. Because we'll all have all kinds of devotees. Introvert, extrovert, etc. Like that. Okay. Yes, ma'am. You have the mic from me.
Another question is, Krishna is Suridam Paradema.
Yeah.
Krishna is the friend of everyone. How you can deal with this, when you have this friendship with the devotees, how you cannot go and the sense of the take mundane friendships.
More than?
Mundane.
Mundane friendship, yeah.
Mundane.
Yeah.
Mundane friendship. If Krishna, because what are our aim? This is my doubt. Our aim is love Krishna. And when you love Krishna and normally you love everyone. But if you're not in this level, and you make a relationship with the devotees, and you take care from, but this is not really Suvedanta. You take this for you. You take this, become mundane relationship. How?
I'll paraphrase your question, just to see if I understood it. Krishna says, Sujam Sarva Bhutana. I am the well-wisher manufacturer of all. Krishna is friend of all. And those who are really advanced devotees, they love Krishna and they love everyone. That's an Uttamadhikari stage, no doubt about it. That's very advanced stage. Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Namani Kavi Hasani. So at our level, you are saying that how our relationship should not become mundane. What we should take care of it. Few things. First is, as Krishna says, how devotees relate with each other. Mat chitta, mat katha prana, bodhiyanta parasparam. Katyantas chamamityam tushyanti charavanti cha. Which means, if our relationship is centered around Krishna means what? Centered on Krishna means we either talk about Krishna or either we serve Krishna together. Now, talk about Krishna, serve Krishna together, which means being part of the community, wherever we are, whichever community, and in that community serving together, following whatever the service parameter, whatever the culture has been established. That's what. So, keeping Krishna in the center of relationship, talking about Krishna, listening, chanting about Krishna together, and that's why the Prabhupada gave a program every morning Bhagavatam class. So we come together and hear from each other. Krishna Katha, Mat Chitta, Mat Katha Prana. And then the rest of the day we serve together. So in that we also have to keep a competent Srila Prabhupada relationship. Because when we're dealing at our level, at times there could be some difference of opinions. But we can transcend that difference of opinion, knowing that this service I'm doing on behalf of my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Let's not look at the differences. Let's look at what's the purpose of this service. It is for pleasing. And if we cooperate, this will please Guru and Gauranga. Because when we talk about loving Krishna, it could be a very far off idea. But when you talk about loving devotees, therefore Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the greatest gift of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, let me ask you. What was the greatest gift of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What would be your thoughts?
Holy name.
Holy name? Okay, very nice. Yes?
Together.
Yeah. There are three things Rupa Goswami talks about in relation to chanting. Japa, Kirtan and Sankirtan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here to give us Sankirtan in the association of devotees. So our bhakti is literally dependent on our Vaishnava Sangha. Association of Vaishnava is our lifeline. Not our chanting 16 hours, 64 hours, that's powerful, no doubt about it. But Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says, Sankirtan is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established as the most powerful, potent, means of making punyas, which means Vaishnava Sangha. So there would always be difference of opinion, but keeping Guru Gauranga in picture of it, let's leave our difference of opinion, how we can cooperate and move forward like that, and that's how we serve together. And that's how we prevent our relationship from becoming mundane. And of course, as Rupa Goswami says, Nindadi Shunya Hridaya Ipsita Sangalabdha, we should, associate with those who do not find fault in others. That's another important thing that Rupa Goswami also says in the 5th verse. Do not associate with who find faults. Rather, associate with those whose heart is free from finding faults in others. So that becomes Vaishnava Sangha. And the last thing, if in case somebody wants to come and reveal one's mind, he is having some concern and wants to speak to you about some devotee. So I often have this approach. I always ask the first question, is it important for me to know about that person? Is it really going to help me in my devotional life knowing about that person, whatever you're speaking about that person? Am I the right person to help that person if you tell me what his faults? Because only the, one way accepted guru. In other words, if I am the teacher, then I can correct the student. If I am not the teacher, how can I correct? So is it going to help my devotional life? First. Can I help that person? Second. So these are 2-3 questions that we can ask. And ideally the answer that person will say, well, what I'm saying is not going to help you because I'm finding faults. Second, you probably know the authority. So like that. And if in case you have a capacity, speak something good about that Vaishnava and bring that individual to a senior to take care if in case there are little conflicts. So these are some of the ways we can avoid mundaneness. Hare Krishna. All right.
So sometimes we talk behind the back. He's like that, she's like that. But rarely the devotees have the courage to come out and present in a nice way. What like this, how can improve this? It's very touchy, but it would help, you think? To be more straightforward. Got to be very like this and to do that. Even if you're not.
So Mother is saying sometimes devotees are not straightforward. They sometimes speak. It will be nice if they can be straightforward. I believe that is the best thing. Of course, our concerns, we should also present our concerns nicely. Speaking behind the back is not a good idea. Speaking behind the back is not a good culture. We can always speak to the concerned person, or we can speak with our authority or management and take their guidance. Many times, it's a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding. Somebody's behavior because of which we think this and that has happened. But when we clarify with that devotee, it turns out to be, he or she never had that thought. We were thinking about it. So there are always this kind of misjudgment. Chances of misjudgment is also there. So generally what we follow protocol in management, particularly because most of the conflicts happen in management. If you got anything, concern, go and politely speak to the devotee. Prabhu, I didn't like this. Or Prabhu, why did you say like this? Clarify and close it. And just move forward. We don't keep it to our heart. We move forward. This is our family. This is the family. We don't take this seriously. Everyone has come here with one purpose: to love Krishna and to love and follow Guru and Gauranga. Like that. All right. So I should pause here. We'll have Damodar to take forward the subject matter of now devotee care more in terms of the context, values and virtues. I just want to offer some philosophical background. Hare Krishna. And when you go back, just do draw the triangle. Do draw the triangle.
Okay.
And then just think about, do we have those 3 relationships? Do we give a break for 5 minutes or do we go down?
Yeah, I think we have 5 minutes break.
Yeah.
Yes, while we are having break, we are going to chant Hare Krishna. So, we will keep a break, short break. 5 minutes break. 5 minutes break. Yes, and request someone to please lead the kirtan. 5 minutes. In a 5 minute. Kirtan actually energizes us. Yeah, so. Just on the kartal, just on the kartal. You got the kartal here?
Yeah. Standing up. No. So the mind approach is so I have
Yes, Kirtan. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, we'll discuss some. We'll continue with discussing the aspects of care as a virtue and also as a conducting action over here. So, one important aspect of care Prabhupada highlights in 7th Canto, Chapter 5, verse 12. Let's read it out. I request someone to please read this verse.
Vaikuntha thinking, everyone should be friendly for the service of the Lord. Everyone should praise another's service to the Lord and not to be proud of his own service. This is the way of Vaishnava thinking, Vaikuntha thinking.
Hare Krishna. So, what aspect of care Prabhupada points out here? What is the, from this purport quote, which aspect of care, like in relation to care, what do we understand?
Appreciation to others.
Appreciation to others, yes, thank you Lieutenant Prabhu. Prabhupada here is encouraging us to appreciate others' service to the Lord. this is the way of Vaikuntha thinking. This is how, this is a thought process in the spiritual world. Any example of this in Vaikuntha? In Vaikuntha, any example of this? Yes, Mother Gauravi?
No envy.
Huh?
No envy.
No envy, no envy, yes. Any example of this? The third canto, chapter 15 and 16 describe some activities of Vaikuntha. Do we see that in action, this particular, what Prabhupada is pointing out? Do we see this point in action in Vaikuntha? Where Bhagavatam describes this happens in Vaikuntha. It gives an example from Vaikuntha. Can someone recall? No, I am saying an example. An example of this happening in Vaikuntha.
I don't know if it's correct. Over the Bhagavatamrita, one is finding another more qualified.
Okay, in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, yes, Narad Muni search for a great devotee and every other devotee prays the service of another devotee. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there is a theme. There is a theme of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, right? Good. In Srimad Bhagavatam, do we see that happening in Srimad Bhagavatam somewhere?
Yes,
In Vaikuntha, there is a description of the flowers of Vaikuntha. There is a description of flowers of Vaikuntha. They are very sweet, fragrant flowers.
Kunchi Devi.
Sorry?
Kunchi Devi, when she spoke about Mary Yashoda.
Okay. I didn't get it.
When Kunchi Devi speaks with Krishna, telling him about the service of Mary Yashoda.
Yes. Yes, thank you. That is a good example. Yes, take some water. Can you elaborate that a little bit? They describe. They describe.
Kunchi Devi, she spoke about her and the service of she made for Krishna is insignificant when she looks at what Mary Yashoda made for Krishna, how Mary Yashoda, Mother Yashoda, the relationship she has, what she has for Krishna. She made for Krishna when she shows the milk, the good milk for Krishna, the cows. Nice cows for Krishna, for the milk Krishna.
You're talking of Kunti Devi thinking of Mother Yashoda's service, right? In the first canto, yes. Kunti Devi appreciates the love of Mother Yashoda for Krishna, actually, in the first canto, but in her prayer also. So she is appreciating someone else's service. And the flowers of Vaikuntha, they appreciate the service of Tulsi. They say, oh, this Tulsi is very fortunate because she is always at the lotus feet of the Lord. They don't envy, as Mother Gauravi said. They don't envy. They appreciate the service of Tulsi, others. So we see that happening in Vaikuntha. So, another beautiful quote. Yes. Would someone like to read from Mother's side?
Everyone
Yes.
should be allowed to render service to the Lord to the best of his ability, and everyone should appreciate the service of others. Such are the activity of Vaikuntha.
So again, second time Prabhupada is saying, first of all he says one should praise other service, everyone should be allowed to render service. And Mother Gauravi said care means that there is a good engagement for others, that everyone is allowed here means we support, we encourage other service. So that is And explicitly Prabhupada says, everyone should appreciate the service of others. Such are the activities of Vaikuntha. So this is a very important aspect of care, which is appreciation of other service. I would like to share one example with you. How many of you heard the name of Peter Barwash? Lochanan Dubey heard, Gomandra Barani has heard Peter Barwash. Someone else? Okay, Peter Barwash. He was a tennis player. He played Grand Slams, Wimbledon, and then he had many tennis courts. PBI, Peter Barwash International, very good coach tennis. So very great tennis player. But then he took a lot of inspiration from Prabhupada. He was actually at heart Prabhupada disciple, though formally not initiated. And he wrote many books called Life Enrichment Series. He wrote many books. They all were based on teaching of Prabhupada. In the Festival of Inspiration in New Vrindavan, although not initiated, he used to be the keynote speaker. And sannyasis would sit and hear from him. He had so much depth in his presentation, in his understanding of the Krishna conscious philosophy, Peter Barwash. So I met Mr. Peter Barwash. He came to Mumbai and he came to be treated in Bhaktivedanta Hospital in Mumbai. He had some heart ailment and he underwent a surgery and a treatment in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. So I went to meet him and I came to know that he is not allowed to take, he has a very restricted diet. So I made something healthy for him, something baked for him, some baked vegetable with olive oil and basil and few other seasoning. I like to cook for devotees, so I baked few things for him. And he had so much appreciation, the way he thanked me. And he said, "Oh, I have never eaten such nice thing ever before." I was so surprised. I mean, I did a small thing, but I saw for a small thing, he had a big appreciation. Not just that. I was there with him and one maid came to the room. And she cleansed the room, she broomed the room, she mopped the room. And then he thanked the maid. And how he thanked the maid, he just said, "Oh, you have cleansed the room so nicely, it's now sparkling, it's spotless. Thank you so much." While I was looking, this maid started crying. She started crying. She said, "No one has ever praised me like you before. I've been working here for 25 years. What to speak of praise?" She started crying. So this is appreciation, and it is said that this is the nature of the Supreme Lord. The nature of the Supreme Lord. He describes the Lord is so magnanimous in his thinking that he considers a small service to be big and a big mistake to be small. That is the nature of the Lord. Ishvara sabhava bhaktera nalaya aprad alpa seva bahumani atma prayan prasad. If you see the big mistake a devotee commits sometime accidentally, he minimizes the mistake. So if the fault is big, Lord reduces it, make it small. But if there is some small service, he magnifies it. He increases it. Alpa seva bahumani, small service, he considers a big service. Just imagine, it's the nature of the Lord. Therefore, as devotee in a community, we need to learn appreciating small services. Not to speak of big services. Devotees do so many services. The devotees dedicate their whole life. We will not have sufficient appreciation. We need to have appreciation even for small things. In the nature of the Lord. He appreciates even small things done and he considers it to be big. So that is the appreciation, which is very important. That appreciation, okay, this appreciation is, of course, we do not just want to appreciate by words. We also want to reciprocate that. Like we would like to reciprocate. Whenever there is opportunity, we express our appreciation by reciprocating, doing something practical. Doing something practical. What is the virtue here and what is the conduct? That we were discussing two important aspects. To appreciate others, what's the value, inherent value within the heart? That helps us to appreciate. Gratitude. Gratitude. So we should cultivate this gratitude, which is the value of the heart, which manifests into action as, in words as appreciation. But we should not stop there. We should live by that appreciation by trying to do something practical for the devotees. Just like Prabhupada and discussed, made the long building first for the devotees by supporting them in different ways. So that is about the appreciation part. Now, very important aspect. We want to appreciate devotees not for what they just do, but what they are. This is very important. Most of the time, we only tend to appreciate what they do. What they do, like, those who are performers, they can do great things, those who have distributed many books, those who have collected funds, so on and so forth. We tend to appreciate them. But actually, we want to appreciate devotees for what they are. That is, they are devotees of the Lord. It's not a small thing. It's not a small thing here. This is very, very important. I request someone to please read. Someone to volunteer to read. Mother Barangi.
We want all the devotees to feel that they belong and are important. To feel that the leaders love them and care for them as individuals, not just what service they do. Srila Prabhupada did that and inspired great results.
Okay, so I would like to give an example of this. How we want to love the devotees, appreciate the devotees, not simply for what they do, but for what they are. Now, often the reporters would come to Prabhupada to interview him, and Prabhupada they would ask a question, Prabhupada would answer, and after they would complete their interview, Prabhupada would still want to talk to them. They would say, Swamiji, thank you that we have taken the interview, we will now publish. Prabhupada wanted them to understand Krishna consciousness and also practice Krishna consciousness. He wanted them to have full plate of prasadam, bring prasadam for them. And while taking prasadam, he would still want to talk and convince them of Krishna consciousness. So, what do we learn from here? More than the report, he was interested in the reporter. He wanted a proper report, ISKCON to be represented, but more than the report, he was interested in the reporter, the person, not just what he will represent, what he will do, but what that person is. He was more interested in a person. So this is very important quality. We want to appreciate the devotees. Of course, the service they are doing we want to appreciate, but just that they are devotees of the Lord, that's not a small thing. Just anyone take to Krishna consciousness, we need to appreciate them for what they are. And Prabhupada did that. And he inspired great results. There are so many examples of Prabhupada. He really cared for the person. He really cared for the person. Okay, so now, another beautiful quote. Prabhu would like to read.
although a Vaishnava is the most exalted person, he is prideless and gives all respect to everyone, knowing every living entity to be the resting place of Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anjalila 20.24.
Second, now after appreciation we are discussing another important aspect of care is respect to all. Respect to all. Although the Vaishnava is most exalted, Prabhupada says, he respects to all. Give respect to all. I would like to read, Giriraj Maharaj once asked Prabhupada, I was reading that, he said, Prabhupada, I have noticed that when you talk about the scientist, you use the word nonsense, bluffer, cheater, rascal. Yeah, I have heard. And he also said that I will kick them in the face with my boots. So, can we use such language while we meet or preach to the scientists? Prabhupada said, no. You should speak like a gentleman. You should speak like a gentleman. We should offer dandavats even to a Mayavadi sannyasi. Prabhupada said. We should offer dandavats even to a Mayavadi sannyasi. Yes, there's a culture. Respect. A Vaishnava, Bhagavatam says, a Vaishnava offers his respect even to dog eaters. He offers respect. Doesn't disrespect them. No, when you say offer dandavat, doesn't mean we agree with what they say. Now, to give an example now, offer respect to somebody doesn't mean you fully agree with them. Just like Prabhupada was saying with Dr. Mishra in New York, when he just moved to upstate New York, he was staying in Dr. Mishra's studio. Dr. Mishra was an impersonator of Mayavadi. And Bhakti philosophy is just 180 degree opposite to Mayavadi philosophy. So Prabhupada would speak as Mayavad, but in his dealings he was most cordial with Dr. Mishra. You can see his dealings. To the extent when Dr. Mishra was sick, Prabhupada cooked for him and helped him recover to good health. Just imagine. Prabhupada spoke against Mayavad so ferociously. But he cooked for a Mayavadi and helped him recover to good health. Helped him restore his health. Just imagine. He cooked for a Mayavadi and was so cordial. Therefore, Vedic culture is a culture of respect. Even if there is disagreement, there has to be respect. We cannot be disrespectful. Vaishnava means respect. Vaishnava means to respect all. So devotee is most exalted, but he respects all. That's all. Okay, now I'll give you another example. I was talking to Peter Pravash Prabhu. I saw how he has so much appreciation in his heart. Then he told me that he has lived with his first wife throughout his life. They never divorced. Their lifelong marriage, first marriage survived throughout, and they lived with their children, they lived as a family. In US today, to find someone who is like married in his youth and has lived with the first wife throughout, to find such a person is as rare as to find a pure devotee. It's very rare, especially in the US culture. So, therefore, he said that I told him, I asked him that, what's the secret of your successful married life? Like, after I can share with others. Like, so he said, me and my wife, we made a mutual commitment. What's that? That even if we disagree, even if we dislike, we don't like the way you do things, the way you talk, etc. Of course, there is always disagreement. There are always liking and disliking. We like certain things in a relationship, we don't like certain things. He said, but we made a commitment, we will not shout at each other. Because to shout at someone is a sign of disrespect. We will not disrespect each other. We may disagree, we may dislike, but we will not disrespect, we will not shout at each other, we will not yell at each other. And he said, because of that mutual commitment, our marriage has survived lifelong. So in any relationship, especially the devotees, we may strongly disagree, we may not like something the way the person does, etc., etc., but we have no right to disrespect someone. There is a line over there, there is a thin line. So a Vaishnava maintains respect, proper respect. That is the second important aspect. When we actually appreciate and respect others, that empowers. The result of showing appreciation, the result of showing respect to others is others are empowered. I want to give an example from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is what Lord Chaitanya says to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. You know Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was Mayavadi philosophy. He was a Mayavadi philosopher and Lord Chaitanya made him a devotee. So Lord Chaitanya says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has shown me the limits of devotional service. Only by his mercy have I understood that devotional service to Krishna is the essence of all yoga. Just imagine. This is what Lord Chaitanya is saying to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He has shown the limit of devotional service. By his mercy I have learned that devotional service is the essence of all yoga. How could you say that? Just imagine, how could you say that? Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became a very staunch devotee. Lord Chaitanya, of course, made him a devotee, but Lord Chaitanya didn't take the credit. He didn't take the credit. But when he became such a staunch devotee, and he says the words of Bhagavatam, Mukti Pade, liberation. He said, oh, this word Mukti is so stinking. I can't stand. Bhakti is such a sweet fragrance, the word Bhakti. This Mukti word should not be used. Mukti word should be replaced with Bhakti, he says in the words of Bhagavatam. He said, this Mukti word is producing a dread within my heart. Right? It produces kind of tremors. I fear this word Mukti now. I have word Bhakti is so encouraging. Word Mukti puts you down. And Lord Chaitanya was so pleased. He says, the person who throughout one's life has studied and taught Mukti now cannot stand the word Mukti. And he became such a strong devotee. Therefore Lord Chaitanya appreciates. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has shown me the limits of devotional service. From him I have learned Bhakti the essence. So Krishna's Kaviraj Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, my Lord, you are expert at making a Garuda out of a crow. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, you are expert at making a Garuda out of a crow. That means by your appreciation, your respect, you empower even the crow to become a Garuda. He said, I am a crow. But by your encouragement, by your appreciation, by your respect that you are showing me, although I am a Mayavadi, you are empowering me. So leader has to empower. How Prabhupada empowered devotees? How Prabhupada empowered the devotees? So therefore, how Lord Chaitanya empowered the devotees? Remember, to empower the devotees, that's one of the main teaching of Lord Chaitanya. TLC, you can note down this, TLC, teaching of Lord Chaitanya. His teaching consists of trust, love and care. When a leader trusts and loves and cares, then the devotees feel empowered. And that is one of the main teaching of Lord Chaitanya. TLC, teaching of Lord Chaitanya, trust, love and care. So this Prabhupada again exemplified that, and how much respect he showed to Sarva Bhattacharya that empowered him. So that is respect to all. There have been two great wars in the history, in our Vedic history, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Both are big wars. And both wars are based on disrespect shown to a chaste lady. Mother Sita was disrespected by Ravana, and the Kauravas disrespected Draupadi. So when the disrespect shown to a chaste lady is the cause of disaster for the entire dynasty of Ravana and for the entire dynasty of Kauravas. Disrespect leads to disaster, individually, collectively. When we are disrespectful, we will bring a disaster in our life or in a collectively also, community. So remember, disrespect leads to disaster, while respect and appreciation empowers. Appreciation empowers. I'll touch upon the third important quality which is important within a community, which is, let's go ahead, what's that? Yes, which is empathy. Like someone to please read it. Yes, ma'am.
I wish that every selfless, tender-hearted person of Gaudiya Math, means Gauranga's followers, will be prepared to shed 200 gallons of blood for the nourishment of the spiritual corpus of every individual of this world.
Just think of this. Can you imagine? This is the statement. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. I wish every selfless, tender-hearted person of Gaudiya Math, Gauranga's follower, be prepared to shed 200 gallons. How much is 200 gallons? Just imagine. Actually, I did some calculation. If you donate blood every week, a healthy person can donate blood every week or 10 days. A healthy person. So if you donate blood, the maximum allowed, blood, and you're very healthy, donate blood every week, and you live a very healthy life of 100 years. The maximum blood you can donate is 200 gallons in your life.
Wow.
Sorry? Maximum blood you can donate.
Yeah.
If you donate blood every week and you are very healthy, and if you do that for 100 years, the human life is 100 years. If you donate blood every week, maximum blood you can donate is 200 gallons in your very healthy life of 100 years. So therefore Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says, that means the whole life should be dedicated to nourish the spiritual corpus for the sake of others, to help others, people nourish their spiritual life. We should be ready to make this sacrifice, this empathy shown over here. What's the meaning of empathy in general? What's the meaning of empathy?
We kind of put ourselves in the opposite person's emotions.
Okay, yes, Prabhu?
Listening?
Listening, okay, that is empathic listening. Empathic, yeah, that's an important aspect of empathy. But as Bhajan Prabhu said, your name, Prabhu?
Jean-François.
John Francois.
Okay, John Francois. Okay, Hare Krishna. So I can short name John.
Yes.
Okay, John Prabhu, thank you. So, empathy is to feel the pain of others. feel the pain of others. Just like sympathy, you know the word sympathy? Sympathy means, to sympathize means, oh, I understand your pain. That is the sympathy. I understand your pain. But what is empathy? I feel your pain. Right? I am also suffering because of your pain. So that is empathy. So a Vaishnava feels the pain of others, just like the parents feel the pain of children. Mother very much feel the pain of the child. Similarly, the Vaishnava, they feel the pain of all living entities. The quality of par dukha dukhi. We have heard the term par dukha dukhi. When others are unhappy, we feel unhappy. That is empathy. And therefore, to relieve others, people suffering, distress, this is what Srila Bhakti Thakur wished. And he had said that it's a big tall order, but this sets the goal, that we should be extending ourselves to empathize with others. Okay, I would like to give you a simple example of empathy. Of course, this is a very tall order, but we can begin on a small note. We were here, we were in Madhan, where we conducted devotee care training. And after the morning Bhagavatam class, we got late going for the breakfast. So we were like 20 minutes late. Breakfast started at 8:30. We reached around 8:50, 20 minutes late. And they had made nice cheese tomato sandwiches as a breakfast. And the news spread, everyone was on time. And by the time we reached, there was no sandwich. Only some pieces of bread, plain bread. So we reached and we saw, okay, we asked, is there some sandwich? No, this is the only bread we have. Okay, fine. Something we can have with bread. Nothing, some tea. Okay, fine, we can dip the bread in the tea and have it. Like, it's okay. So while we were taking, one devotee came and said, oh, I have made this plate of sandwiches for you. I said, oh, wow. I said, but what about you? He said, no, I have for me also. I have for me. Oh, you were surprised? We thanked him so much. Then I took that bit of cheese tomato sandwich, then I started having it. And just after that, I saw this devotee, he gave me the plate. I said, I have it for me, but actually taking those plain piece of bread. He actually didn't it. He gave his own plate. He thought they are guests who have come. We should, he was empathetic towards us, that they will not get the breakfast, etc. So he gave his own plate, and he was taking this bread and the tea. And then I felt bad. I said, no, you should not have done that. You would have shared. But I also learned from this devotee. This is a very tall order, but we can do some small things. For the sake of others. I was visiting one garden in New Zealand. This is in Christchurch, where we travelled a few years back to conduct devotee care training. There was a nice garden. It was developed by the military. And as we entered the garden, there was a beautiful saying. There was an arch, beautiful arch. And I read on the arch. It said, service above self. Service above self. That's a simple message. Service above self. So, and that's Vaishnavism. Right? That's empathy towards others. We want to serve others and place that as a high priority of our own self. Right? That's the empathy. Yes, Hare Krishna.
They think that empathy, you need to be two persons, and this not only literal, not the only one person. Empathy means two persons, reciprocation.
Empathy means to feel the pain of others. As two people are there. The person who is...
When you give to others, you expect to receive.
Sorry?
you give empathy, but then you have the tendency to expect to receive
Oh,
empathy.
okay.
Alright, reciprocation.
Okay.
What
So,
does it mean?
if we give empathy, we also have expectation of receiving it. That's the question?
Tu sais la question, c'est comme est-ce que c'est normal d'attendre que les autres ils ont de l'empathie aussi envers nous?
Ouais, est-ce que c'est normal ça? Ou c'est juste vous donner sans rien vouloir en échange?
Is it okay, healthy to expect also empathy to come back towards ourselves, or we should just,
Okay.
be selfless?
Okay. The question is nice. Should we expect others to be empathic towards us while we try to give to others? Well, I will read one other beautiful pastime of Prabhupada which answers your question. Right? Prabhupada has given us everything. So the entire care model is there. We are just putting in the proper structure. So Prabhupada was speaking in New Vrindavan, and it was cold outside, just like cold winds, as you know. So there was one mother, one Gokulasya Priya Devi, Prabhupada disciple. She was a little bit, shivering out of cold. She was feeling the cold, and you could see when you feel the cold, like try to do like this, So she was sitting like this, and Prabhupada noticed that she was not having sufficient warm clothes. So at the end of the talk, Prabhupada called the temple president and he said, look, she is a Vaishnavi and she is humble by nature. She may not ask you, but it is your duty to provide. You should know, she is doing selfless service. You should know that she doesn't have warm clothes. You should provide. So therefore, this is an important aspect. Mother Sita Priya Devi, you have touched. Devotee should not demand care. Devotee should give care. Everyone should give. Then what happens is, automatically everyone receives. If there is a mood of giving, automatically everyone receives. But of course, we can sometimes express it to our seniors if there is some specific need. There's some specific need I have. We should not demand, but we can express it humbly. That's okay. Because many times other devotees may be busy, they may not get the time to be able to understand your need. But if we express, that's fine. In general, we should not be demanding. We should be sensitive. As leaders, we should be sensitive to understand the needs and provide without being asked. That's the best care model. Right? That's the best care model. But yes, we should also train other devotees since the community expands sometime. The leader is also very busy. Right? It may not be possible for the leader sometimes to understand. The leader is also not a Paramatma. Paramatma can understand the heart. Right? Everyone has limitations. Other devotees can at times properly express. So that's also good. And then it can be, the community can provide for each other's need also. So the whole purpose is to have communities of care where everyone wants to give care, wants to serve, and therefore everyone receives that care automatically. So that's the purpose. Okay, some other thought. So another beautiful code of empathy. Another beautiful code of empathy. Yes, from the mother's side, someone like to read? Yes. Okay. Yes. You can read. Yeah. Mother Krishna Kirtan and Mother Krishna Charana Arvinda. Hare Krishna.
Empathy. I do not pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the high perfection of mystic yoga, nor for salvation from repeated birth and death. I want only to stay among all the living entities and suffer all distresses on their behalf, so that they may be free from suffering. Maharaj Antidev.
Just imagine, what kind of high level of consciousness consciousness these great souls have. So we only, of course, we can't imitate them. Now we can make such a prayer, This will be artificial. But at least we can appreciate. And when we succumb to, sometimes when we succumb to small things and go into negative thinking, or sometimes we become very selfish, self-centered, then we can think of these great souls and compare, how my behavior is so disappointing, even to me, or my response to some situation. Sometimes we may respond in a very selfish way. That is the time to compare our response and our thought process to these great souls and repent for it and pray to elevate ourselves. That's the purpose. Right? We should have the standard that has been set is so high that we have to something look forward to advance. So this is a very, very high standard. He says, I just want to stay among one living entity and suffer. Another similar prayer is made by an associate of Lord Chaitanya. Who is that? Vasudeva Thakur. Vasudeva Thakur. Lord Chaitanya says, your prayer brings tears to my heart and just eyes. My heart is breaking. And the tears came to Lord Chaitanya's eyes. Just by hearing that prayer of empathy of Vasudeva Thakur, Punali Maharaj Nati Dev, 9th canto makes this prayer. Let's chant Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare. Stretch your hand and Krishna, Hare Ram, once more. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So, we discussed today 3 important qualities. The appreciation. Even for small things you learn to appreciate. Don't speak of big things that devotees give their life. Right? And that is the culture of Vaikuntha. Then second thing we learn is respect. Even if you don't like something, even if you disagree, you should never disrespect. For example, Prabhupada even cooked for Mayapur. Vaishnava offer respect to all. And disrespect bring disaster. Remember the example of Mahabharata and Ramayana. And the third thing, Jai Shri Radha Ki Jai, Shri Madhan Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Shri Nityananda Ki Jai. The third thing that we discussed is empathy. Empathy, which means to feel the pain of others and try to serve others, put others, service to others above self. Remember the word service above self. Service above self. That's empathy, and that has been shown by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur says we should be willing to give up our entire life practically for the sake of helping one soul. But actually we can do very much more. But at least even for one spirit soul's elevation, we should be prepared to sacrifice our entire life. Similarly, Maharaj Nati Dev has made this prayer. These are very high prayers, but we can take a small step in this direction and feel encouraged. So therefore, 3 qualities we discussed. Care as a culture of appreciation, respect and empathy. That's another acronym which is made of these 3 qualities. Care is the culture of appreciation, respect, empathy. So that's the culture of the spiritual world, and Prabhupada says how these are the activities of Vaikuntha. This is Vaikuntha thinking and this is Vaikuntha living. Vaikuntha means spiritual world. Even Goloka Vrindavan is called Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means there is no anxiety, there is no conflict. where it is free from all kind of anxiety, conflicts, etc. That is Vaikuntha. So even Goloka Vrindavan in a generic sense is Vaikuntha, because there is no undue anxieties, conflicts, so on, so forth. So these are three important qualities, and we want to practice them. We want to imbibe virtue and also put them into practice, because care has these two aspects: quality and conduct. Quality of the heart and the conduct. Hare Krishna. So we have 5 minutes for any reflections, questions, etc. Lochanand.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so far. It's very enlightening. You're talking about how we can care for devotees. Shastra talks about it. Prabhupada was quite heavy sometimes. Prabhupada was, using heavy language. Like Radhanath Maharaj, my Guru Jananand Maharaj, they picked up the soft side of Prabhupada. Everybody has,
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I was inviting one devotee to attend the seminar. They were saying that this care is bogus. So, how do we see that Krishna consciousness means, we develop friendship with devotees, respect the elders, and how we can, explain, or Prabhupada was caring, but Prabhupada was also like on a war, that time, he had to accomplish, and he was. So maybe you can help me with that, please.
Okay, I would like to point out Prabhupada started this ISKCON in 66 and Prabhupada departed in 77. So Prabhupada preached to the youngsters. See the crowd Prabhupada had. See the crowd Prabhupada had. So the philosophy, the practice of Krishna consciousness, the instruction, many instructions are also given as per the recipient. As per the recipient. To give an example, like for Radha Gopinath Mandir started in 1988. Till 2010, 22 years, we did not have a single chair in our temple. Everyone sat on the floor. Everyone sat on the floor. One day, Radha Maharaj asked Mother, "Oh, Mother Kirtida, I do not see you coming to the temple nowadays." She said, "Maharaj, I can't sit down now. If I come to class, we don't sit." That time, we were not transmitting and all that. Probably started transmitting that time also. But she was not coming then, hearing, sitting at home, the transmitted class. But if you come, where do you sit? In the temple. I said, "No, the congregation has grown now. We were all sitting on the floor, but no longer now. You have chairs." I said, "Why chairs? Have sofas for the devotees. For those elderly, they can sit on those nice sofas, comfortable, put sofas. Some sofas were put. They were very short, put some more sofas. How much sofa you can put? Okay, then put some chairs, put some rug on the ground, add chairs. For the time being, they remove the chairs. That kept increasing. Where for 2 decades, not a single chair was needed. Now the congregation has grown old. Prabhupada was a very younger congregation. Now we say, "No, Prabhupada's time, everyone sat on the floor. We can't provide chairs." This is not what Prabhupada has encouraged. Another example, when the Gurukul started, the kids were there. Prabhupada, how many chapatis can we give to the Gurukul children? They were small. Prabhupada, you can give 3 chapatis. When they grew up, no, Prabhupada said 3 chapatis. So like that, we have to see, we have to understand the mood of Prabhupada. Read all his purports, see the entire life. Yes, they are young, Prabhupada has to shake them up also. Right? And so that as per what they need to advance spiritually. The whole thing is, they should continue to make spiritual advancement. So this care is not to pamper devotees. This care is to support devotees, so that go on practicing their Krishna consciousness, they don't practice in their contribution to society. They can do it till the last breath of their life. Therefore, devotees need a lot of support for that. And it is very diverse. As per the devotee's particular situation, particular age, circumstances, place. It's a very diverse topic. There are many examples how Prabhupada supported that. As Prabhupada is heavy because that time is required, heaviness is required. We don't want to pamper devotees. So therefore we have to see overall. We don't want to take, just a one-sided stance. So we have to have the mature understanding, the balanced understanding. And in this way, the whole devotee care is not, as I said, to pamper the devotees, but to help them in their practice and preaching of Krishna consciousness, both, or their contribution in any way. That way. Radha Swami Maharaj gave the vision in one statement. He said, every leader should be thinking, what will it take for each and every individual to feel protected, inspired and encouraged to go on serving Prabhupada's movement to the last breath of their life. This is our vision statement. How do we care means we have to see that the devotee, each and every devotee feels protected, inspired and encouraged. To the last breath of their life, to go on serving Prabhupada's mission to the last breath, basically. Yeah. So there's a vision. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
You have to have a balanced approach. So care doesn't mean to pamper just. So the devotee care manual has been signed by interviewing many senior leaders. So now, for ISKCON to have a matured understanding of devotee care, this devotee care manual has been brought out, which is approved by the GBC, which is established by Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, GBC is the ultimate authority. This devotee care initiative, devotee care student handbook, I can share the soft copy with you. We are not conducting the full course. The full course is 21 hours training course. It's a certified course for the leaders. We are doing a small crash course, so I am not giving the handbook at this point of time. But there is a whole devotee care manual.
You said 25 hours?
21 hours.
20?
21.
21 hours.
21 hours course. We did that in Banner.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
It's a full comprehensive course. And the certificate, GBC certified course. But at least we are having a 3-session crash course, which is also good to begin. It's a good beginning. It's a very good beginning. Okay, it's 6 o'clock.
Can you just repeat? You said devotee should feel protected,
Inspired and encouraged.
Encouraged.
Acronym is PIE, P-I-E. Everyone should have their own share of pie. We want every devotee to feel protected, inspired and encouraged.
That's a nice fight.
Yeah. And also remember how Lord Chaitanya, how he empowered others by, how Lord Chaitanya empowered others by, no, by TLC,
Oh, yeah.
trust, love and care. How he trusted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, expressed his love and care. So the empowerment now is given by Lord Chaitanya to the devotees by trusting them, loving them and caring for them. Thank you very much. We'll continue this seminar tomorrow 10 to 12:30, tomorrow and also day after tomorrow. We will also be talking of certain important skills in the times to come which are required for the caregivers and care administrators also. And the GBC's mandate for devotee care, we will touch upon that also. So, thank you so much for coming this evening. Really, really very grateful to all of you. Your association is very precious, very encouraging for us. My gratitude again to Lochanan Prabhu and his good wife, Mother Gandharvika Devi, who both are leading in a servant leadership role. We're trying to serve the community here. They are hosting us, very grateful. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Devotee Care Seminar ki Jai. Nitaya Gaur Preman. Hare Krishna. I have some Gokula Radha Gokulanand's Mahaprasad from Bhaktivedanta Mani for all of you. Please wait for a minute.
Damodar Prabhu ki